Welcome to another podcast presentation from the Zenith Corporation.
May I have your attention, please? Your podcast will begin in just a few moments. Please keep your hands inside the podcast at all times and enjoy your ride.
Hello everyone, welcome back to At the Lead, the show where we review both new and older movies. This is Gino.
This is Robert.
America.
And Gio.
And we have a special guest, our friend Ernie. Hello there.
Hey everybody.
Hello. And we are coming to you live from the Graphics Designers Bay.
Ooh.
Is that what you call it?
That's what I call it. If you're new to the show, use the rating system of In-Out Delete.
And if you like the movie, you loved it, this is the Ferrari of movies. It's sleek and fast. Out if you did not like it, but it's not the worst thing in the world. This is the Ford of movies. It'll get you to and from work. And delete if it's the worst movie ever made, and this is the Geo Metro of movies.
Oh,
won't
God.
go above 40.
Oh, God.
No offense.
Yeesh. So this week we watched Ford vs. Ferrari and Robert's pick, which is...
Munich.
Ooh. Let's take a small little snippet of Ford vs. Ferrari.
We're gonna bury Ferrari at Le Mans.
So the great Carroll Shelby is gonna build a car to beat Ferrari with a Ford.
Correct.
And how long did you tell them you needed? 200 or 300 years?
90 days.
Ford vs. Ferrari. American car designer Carroll Shelby and driver Ken Miles battle corporate interference, the laws of physics, and their own personal demons to build a revolutionary race car for Ford and challenge Ferrari at the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1966.
The synopsis is as long as the movie.
And just as exciting. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
we got a little preview of who's in and out.
we haven't even fully gotten into the show yet. But yeah, Ernie, I want you, since you're the guest, I want you to go first on this.
And you're being graded on this. So
I know, I'm
yeah.
being super great on this. I'm a total in on this movie.
Yay!
And like a lot of you already say, we're going to get into it later, but a big part of it is the excitement of telling such a mundane story. But this is such a grandiose story, and they tell it so well with just amazing shots and cuts that it's just... I watched it at 10:30 at night on a weekday, and it woke me up. It was like a strong cup of coffee. So yeah, totally in on this.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. America.
I'm gonna have to be out.
Who didn't see that coming?
Wasn't enough Shrek in this. I thought it was it dragged a little at the beginning, and I didn't find it too. Yeah, I didn't find it that exciting. I was actually excited for this movie. I was like, ooh, like this is gonna be a fun one. Like whatever, cars, fast stuff. But no, not really.
You rather wish it was actual cars, like the Disney
That was actually what I was gonna say. Yeah, that
She's
movie
more
was
into
great,
like
yeah.
Fast and the Furious, you know.
Yeah.
She needs her Vin Diesel.
Just Tokyo Drift, yeah.
What about you, Joe?
I'm in on this one. I liked it.
Okay.
It was shot very well. The racing scenes were awesome. It was long, but I'm in.
All right, Robert.
I am in. I like this movie. It was really like let's just say it, the racing scenes were super exciting and exhilarating.
Hell yeah.
Probably the best racing ever put to film since Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. I mean,
I agree to that.
Right
Justice for Hunt.
Those gear shifts, man. Those gear shifts.
But yeah, all joking aside, the performances are great. You can't say it enough. The racing is what made this movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm in. We could go into details later, but I'm in.
I'm definitely in as well. I just I heard about this backstory for a long time between friends of that's into the car community.
Oh really?
So yeah, so it was like it's a big historical thing, and because it did change Ford at the time, and look at how many cars Carroll Shelby had made after that, the GT500 Mustang. Eleanor from freaking Gone in 60 Seconds.
That's nice reference. I like that.
Yeah. This car basically helped him.
Oh, so, yeah, I did notice this is a Shelby.
Right.
Shelby Mustang?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he had his,
Wait,
according
what?
to the whole thing.
I didn't know.
You didn't know
anything about
that?
cars. I don't know anything about cars.
I don't really either, but I know that.
It's just gone in 60 seconds. Dude.
I know cartoons.
Eleanor.
Come on, Robert.
And and it's sad that not a lot of people know about Ken Miles. That he was one of those racers who are genius enough to understand what the car needs to be better. Not a lot of racers are like that mechanically wise or engineering wise.
Yeah, I mean, one person's usually really good at engineering the car, the other person's really good at driving it. And to get one that has both is
I
it's
agree.
a unicorn, man. Like, it's insane.
Exactly, and so that's why that's why I'm super in. And even though Christian Bale did an amazing job, he got more skinny though. That scared the shit out of me. I'm hoping he doesn't go shirtless and show us like ribs like in Mechanic. So I was like, oh, nah, dog. No, that's no for me, dog. But and Matt Damon, just Matt Damon.
Yeah, but this is tough guy Matt Damon. I'm in on this Matt Damon because he's usually not. He's usually not the strong guy one. Like Ocean's 11, he was Linus. He's like that small little dude, like a little little dude or whatever. Yeah. And then Born Identity, he was more like confused tough guy. But this is just straight tough guy down to the like open mouth chewing his gum all the time. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I loved his performance in this.
I will say Christian Bale's great. He's great in everything he does, but he's taking it overboard because he looks fucking like super skinny.
Okay.
And he's coming off of Vice, right?
Yeah.
Where he gained like 80 pounds or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he had to drop it for this role. Yep. And you could tell, dude.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
He dropped it in a weird way because if you notice, he still had like a gut. But his
That's what I'm
arms and
saying,
stuff
yeah.
were skinny
It looks
because
fucking weird.
I looked the guy up afterwards and he was like this just really out of shape, gangly looking dude. And every time I looked at Christian Bale after, I was like, oh shoot, that's him. Like he's really gotten into it so much that sometimes when the driving scenes were there, I forgot it was him.
Yeah, it's scary. He's turning into the Robert Downey Jr. character from Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, he's too in. He's too in.
Roles, dude. Like, we talked about how much we like the movie, but it is... I think the problem is in the screenplay is in the length.
Yeah.
And it's super long. And it's almost like the movie has like 4 acts.
Right.
Because they set up the characters, they set up the conflicts, which is pretty simple.
Right.
They're trying to build a car to beat Ferrari, and they have to go through all this red tape with all the executives. So you know that.
Right.
And you're pretty much just waiting for the big climax.
Right.
And then this weird plot point gets introduced like almost 3/4, like when you're ready for it to end. And then you go, oh my God, now you got to go another 30 minutes to resolve that plot point. Then go to the end. So it felt like super, super long.
Yeah.
It was like Lord of the Rings. It was like, all
Yeah,
right,
just-
cool.
yeah.
And then psych out.
But I will say though, the stuff that it introduced, it led to more races, which were fucking exciting. I mean, every time there was a race, and I think there's only like 3 big ones in this movie.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, the introduction of the driver. There's he's got to prove himself to be a good driver. And then the last hour, which, funnily enough, all these races are, we're all complaining about how long the movie is. They're all 24-hour races.
That's another thing I don't understand. I don't know anything about racing, but why the fuck would you race for 24 hours?
Okay, so
I like my races a quarter mile at a time.
It's all right, Diesel. All right, relax. So this is where car companies prove how well built their cars are.
Okay.
Because they need to withstand 24 hours of constant racing.
Oh, okay.
So that's why people take these things into such high regard. Like, look how well our car is built. It withstand 24 hours of like going, I don't know how many miles per hour in the pouring rain, because he said it always races. It always rains on this track.
So it's more of a marketing thing for their cars.
Yeah, but it's there so everybody gets to like show off their like,
because like they raced Daytona, right? I think I heard that.
Yeah, that's the one where he had to prove himself.
But that isn't that like 500 laps, or is that something that's changed? I don't know anything about racing, but that was 24 hours too. That race in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but he had to prove himself there, so it's like it's a less difficult road because. Mm-hmm. If you remember that one, it didn't rain. Mm-hmm. It was dry. It was all on a controlled track. But the one at what's the other one called? Le Mans. That one's just you're in the forest and stuff. Yeah. Like if you sometimes they don't even know where you are.
Yeah, you're in like town roads basically.
Town roads. Some of it's dirt. Like that little. By the way, that little speech that Matt Damon gives when the Punisher goes to his office and asks, "So what if I?" The Punisher goes, "Asks, what if we wanted?"
In this movie?
No, the other Punisher.
Oh, wow. When I say the Punisher, everybody knows who we're talking about.
Dolph Lundgren is
Dolph Lundgren. He went into his office and he's talking about the race and how they do the slow pan in. Mm-hmm. Like I barely noticed the camera was moving in, but when he's explaining all that shit about it's cold, it's wet, you're tired, you're exhausted, blah, blah, blah. Like That's one of the most badass scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
So like this guy who can't do it anymore because of some weird thing in his head is explaining it. Like you feel the passion and you feel the grandiose nature of the race. Like it's a great shot.
Yeah. I guess my question is, do they still run these 24-hour races and people watch them?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Good God.
Toyota's won the last like three or four.
Yeah. No wonder this movie was so long. I was trying to replicate the feeling of the race.
It's an endurance for the audience too.
That's why, honestly, that's why I went out, because like it was okay during the race parts, but it just like I'm coming at this from an entertainment factor. Like I don't care about cars, I don't care about whatever. So like just having to sit through all that, and like the first maybe 30 minutes of the movie felt like a waste. It was a waste of time. It was introducing this Shelby guy, but like he can't race anymore. I think they could have done that like differently, because obviously we need to know that he cares about racing. But he can't anymore because of his heart rate or whatever. Yeah. But like, can we get that over with a lot quicker?
Yeah.
It's not
the script. The script
really.
could have been and should have been more efficient, because nothing new after the central characters and conflicts get introduced. Nothing new gets introduced. Yeah. Right. So you're just seeing the same things over. The executive doesn't like Christian Bale. Right. Right. They want to build their car, and it's just over and over, repeated and repeated. I mean, they set them up well. The characters are developed well. It's just. It's a little too much of it. It's like maybe one or two scenes too much of the same stuff getting introduced.
Yeah. I had this sentiment in my head when I was watching it, because in comedy there's comedians for entertainers and then there's comedians for comedians, right? Yeah. Those guys do like these over the toply complicated jokes that comedians are like, oh my god, that guy's fucking brilliant. Yeah. But a comedian's not always as popular,
normal people
right?
Don't get it. Yeah.
This movie feels like a filmmaker's movie for filmmakers. Yeah. Because of the way everything was set up and the amount of time that they spend on, like perfect example, Matt Damon is going to have to explain why the car failed, even though they didn't have Ken driving, right? Yeah. So he watches this folder go from like 4 different people before it gets to that guy's hands. Yeah. Like he could have said that easily in the movie and cut like another 10 minutes out of the film. But because a filmmaker were like, nah, we got to show that shit. They got to feel it and blah, blah, blah. That feels like a really, like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm coming
I understand
across.
what you're saying, but I think, I don't mind a long movie, as my pick shows, later. But just when it starts to feel like it's repeating itself, that's where you start to get bored. Because I honestly was bored for a long time. It's just, like you said, the racing scenes were like shots of coffee. They just woke you up, and it was so exciting. Like you never really seen stuff like that, or at least for a long time.
That's us hearing that, because I didn't feel bored at all. Because because I'm so invested in the story, because I know of it already.
I think
maybe that's why.
Yeah. I think because you knew the backstory, right? Yeah. So you know the beats they're hitting, right? Yep. You know, like, oh, this is when this guy does that, and so you love all that stuff. But for somebody who doesn't know, some of the stuff comes off as cliche, like the guy that doesn't like Christian Bale. Yeah. Like, of course he's there because the screenplay needs a character, a jerk, a villain. And it seems so like plucked out of every other, historical drama or anything like that.
Everything's got to come from something.
If it's true, if that's really how it happened, great. But as an audience member who doesn't know the story, it feels kind of
maybe it did happen, but less shorter than that. So.
Maybe I don't know.
Maybe
the overlapping, like you have to repeat this and everything. Mm-hmm. First, when you go into the movie, you think Ferrari's going to be the bad guy because of how he's being a dick in the beginning. Yeah. So there's that layering of bad guys that come up, and you're like, that's too many bad guys already. And like only one of them gets their comeuppance as it is.
This is
like
the Ferrari's the only
Robin.
One. It's like 8 bad guys.
I thought you liked that movie.
I'm saying it didn't do it as well as Batman and Robin.
Oh, I say not enough puns.
Yeah.
Everybody chill.
Gino lost it. We lost Gino.
Yeah, we lost Gino.
No, but I did like the subtle nod to Ken at the end when Ferrari was like up there and he gives him the little, hey,
he
whatever.
Gave him props.
Yeah.
Because honestly, Ferrari's just being a dick the whole time because he's like, we make beautiful works of art. Yeah. You guys make ugly trash cars.
In your factories. Well, we make them all handcrafted, beautiful, little sleek things.
And everybody's like, and that's why you're bankrupt. Oh shit.
Until
it was underhand and everything, and that's why I thought, okay, you got that bad guy, you got Ford himself because he's just being a dick, and then you got the executive guy. Who else is gonna be a fucking bad guy? I thought maybe what's it called? Ken's wife was gonna be bad guy because there's a
they do kind of set that up,
right? And these stories, they always have like the wife who's just like, you're tearing this family apart with the racing. It's either racing or us.
She did say that because like at first he's like, I'm gonna quit racing. I gotta take my life and my family seriously, so I gotta stop doing it. She's like, no, keep doing it. Like, what else are you gonna have? And then at some point she's like, oh, you went and you raced, and he was like, well, yeah, didn't you tell me not to stop?
Yeah, I was confused. Honestly, they could have that scene where they're both in the car and she gets mad and she drives, like, that could have been deleted. Yeah. I understand you're trying to develop the wife and all that, but do we really care? We're there for some racing, right? And obviously, if you're a fan of cars, if you're a fan of racing, this movie is fucking great, probably, Yeah.
Just show up like 30 minutes late, though.
Obviously, look at Gina's the only person who knew the backstory, and he's super, like, he didn't find it boring. He loved every part of it. And I think, if I would have been that too, I would have loved every second of this. Most likely.
Yeah. I mean, I wish Universal could take notes on the racing scenes of this movie to go, you know what, we need Fast and Furious back to this style.
No, I think this could have used a little Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't need to go into the engine and then do like
you don't need to do
pressing
that.
like the NOS button and just like...
No, just for the pacing, I think.
That's what I'm talking about.
I think for the pacing.
Because I'm tired of the whole like, oh, we got a tank. Oh, we gotta go in the submarine. It's like, fuck all that shit.
But just imagine a submarine just like shows up.
Wait,
like,
is that your Vin Diesel?
Yeah.
I thought that was your Ja Rule.
Murder! Monica! Well, it looks like we have 4 ins and 1 out. Damn you, America.
Nah.
Not the country, you.
Overall, very enjoyable.
Very enjoyable.
Recommend.
I recommend. Well, even though I love every second of it. We're going to take a small break and we'll be right back.
Please stand by as your next film is being prepared. And remember, no flash photography is allowed during listening.
We have 11 Palestinian names. Each had a hand in planning Munich. You're going to kill them, one by one. We deposit money into a box that doesn't exist.
200,000 for one name. Am I alone?
You'll have 4 others. They know useful things like documents, cars, cleanup.
He gets in the bed, his weight arms the device. I give the signal by switching off the light.
Munich. In the wake of the 1972 Munich Olympic tragedy, the Mossad retaliates by deploying a team of agents in Europe to assassinate Palestinian terrorist leaders suspected of planning the attack, which left 11 Israeli athletes dead. That's Munich, guys.
Why'd you pick this movie?
I picked this movie because I think it's, I know you guys are going to find this controversial, but I think it's Steven Spielberg's best movie. There, I said it.
Over E.T.?
Over E.T., over Indiana Jones and
over
the Temple of Doom. Yeah.
Over Jurassic Park?
Yeah, I also
Schindler's List.
Dang, over Jurassic Park.
You see, this is another thing. Steven Spielberg has made some of the most beloved movies of all time, launched all these franchises that we know and love. So this movie, I think, kind of gets overlooked. And so I wanted to shine some light on it. And also because we're gearing up to Oscar season. So I wanted to pick a movie with some prestige. This
it was only
up towards this movie was nominated. This movie was nominated for 5 Academy Awards. I love it.
Not win.
I think I can see where all this is going, but honestly, I think this movie is a fucking masterclass in directing action and suspense, and it's one of the best thrillers I've ever seen. So I'm excited, but I'm also not excited to hear what you guys thought of it. What did you guys think?
Well, I can say is I'm in because this is his greatest acting performance since Hulk. By the way, Eric Bana.
Oh.
I
would debate that.
I'm kidding. That was the joke. But no, I actually enjoyed this movie. I felt the espionage feel about it and how it developed along the time. This is I know this ain't a span of a month. This is years, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
And this is really interesting because it feels like you're watching a James Bond movie or a Jason Bourne movie. I don't know. It's a mixture of those feelings that I was getting. And that takes place in the 60s, 70s, right?
70s.
All right, yeah, because I saw the bell bottom pants, and I was like, all right, cool. I know whatever it is.
A lot of disco in it too.
And and just the story was great. I we'll talk more about it later, but yeah, I'm totally in on it. Who else wants to speak about this?
Not it.
Gio, you go.
This movie was a lot different than what I expected. I really hadn't heard much since like when it came out. Mm-hmm. I thought it was more about the actual events, like the Olympic events, than I guess what happens after, like the outcome of those events. So I didn't know. It was like once that kind of happened right away, I was just like, what? I saw this over 2 nights. It's a long movie. I got busy, so only because I didn't give it a proper viewing. I'm gonna give it an out for now. But it's a high out.
No, out's
it's a high out.
It's a high out.
To me, it's out.
You know, it doesn't matter whether you're out by an inch or a mile. If you're out, you're out.
No, more physical. So he's not giving it like a Ford.
Yeah, I'm not hating
He's
it.
giving it like a Ford Shelby. You know, like a Shelby GT.
It's the basic model.
The V6 model, basic.
All right, we know where you stand. America,
I still have the crank out.
America, what do you think? I know what's coming here.
Yeah. I
She's deleting it.
It's a high out. I'm just like,
It's a high out.
Look, I appreciate it for all the technicalities and stuff. It looked really cool. I thought there was like some really good scenes. But honestly, like, oh man, it was just so long. And I found myself like just kind of like, oh, okay, when are we getting to the next part? You know? Yeah. So, I mean, I liked it. It was an interesting topic, but maybe this isn't a topic for a movie, you know?
Really?
Like maybe it's more of a documentary, you know? I'm sure Ken Burns is going to do, you know, a 10-part thing.
Already.
Yeah, probably.
This happened in the 70s.
You're right, yeah.
All right.
But, yeah.
So, Ernie didn't watch the whole thing.
No.
But can you review the 30 minutes or so?
It's a delete. Delete it.
From what I saw, it was really cool. I mean, it started out intriguing, but like, unfortunately, because I had to stop watching it because of something that happened over the weekend.
And the movie being 3 hours long.
And I didn't get too invested, so like, you can, even from the first scene though, you could tell it's a Spielberg film.
Yeah.
Like the way it's shot and everything, and the way the music kind of swells at the right places to make you feel what you're supposed to. Like, I'll give you this, Robert. I'm going to watch it still.
Okay.
Because even though it's not an assignment passed today, I'm still going to watch it because, like, just that opening scene, it's like when I watched Ready Player One, I was like, these Spielbergian scenes, the, like, real-life scenes, I was like, are enough to push me to watch the rest of the movie. The rest of the movie was CG.
Okay.
But, like, you know what I mean? I know the rest of this movie's not going to be CG. I'm not too excited about Eric Bana. He's not like
a lot of Eric Bana hate.
That's not that I hate him. It's just he's boring. his Incredible Hulk was like
boring.
Like I was more interested in the CG guy than it was him. Like that's bad.
The CG had more character than he did.
I mean, I think he's a better Hulk than Mark Ruffalo.
Whoa!
Hot take. We all know
I'll say this. Like the day that he told me what I needed to watch, I was like, I've never heard of this movie. Right? So he sent me this clip from I think it's Knocked Up? Knocked Up, where the like Seth Rogen goes like, hell yeah, Jews fighting, killing people. Yeah. It's like that. This is the time we turn the tables. Hell yeah.
He says Munich is fucking mind blowing, which it is. Yeah.
If we get late tonight, it's because of Munich. Yeah. Honestly, so that's honestly enough to get me to watch the rest of the movie, because when something is this on its head, because all we ever see are Oscar-winning movies about the great suffering of the Jewish people, right? Like Schindler's List, and there's a ton of others that come after that. This is the one where they turn around. These guys are just like, we're gonna fucking kill those guys that like assassinate all those people at the Olympics. Yeah. So I'm excited to see it. Yeah. I actually was very excited to see it. I'm very sorry.
This is, you know what this is? This is like an 80s action movie, because you know in 80s action movies they were just killing terrorists who were
but
just
where's Van Damme?
Basically, here's what I'm going at too. Like they were basically just cartoons. They were wearing their little Arab, gear, and they were just mowing them down, right?
Right.
This is that movie, but done by a real filmmaker. Right?
Yeah. See, now that's exciting.
Yeah. This is a historical drama, and obviously you guys know I love historical dramas. So the opening like what is it, 10, 15 minutes are so unbelievably good that could have existed as a movie on its own, you know?
Right.
That's what I thought this movie was.
Honestly, that's part of my disappointment too.
Yeah, because here's the thing, dude. That's what I thought. Like, I literally started watching it, and I was like, "Wait, why is this movie already starting halfway in?" I had to restart it because I was just like, "What the hell?" There's like no real intro to this. It's just like you're thrown in right away.
Yeah, and that's a great thing. Here's the thing:
I was lost.
You get the setup. You know why they're fighting, right? And then you get this really good, essentially thriller about a team just going to assassinate a bunch of guys.
Right.
Like, how is that not exciting? Treated like with some humanity, you know? You look at the terrorists, right? And, you know, each one that they kill, and you kind of wonder, like, these are just normal people. I don't know if you saw any of the assassination scenes.
I did see some of them, yeah.
So you look at them and go like, well, this is not a terrorist. This is just a regular guy, right? So it gives. I'm not trying to defend terrorism and all that, but
it sounds like it.
It shows, you know, it shows the humanity of it all, right? And I think that's why this is such a good movie. If you guys didn't know, this movie came out in 2005, right? So this movie is in the wake of 9/11, right? And if you didn't know, Ernie, you didn't see this, but if you didn't know it was about that, they make it very clear at the end.
Oh, dang.
Because it ends on a shot of the Twin Towers.
Dang.
Right? So this movie is essentially speaking on terrorism and how to respond to it, right? Oof. And is the correct response to violence just more violence, right?
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, this Palestinian and Israeli, you know, conflict, this is still happening today.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So what is the solution, right? You know, they go around killing these people. They lose their humanity. The characters lose their humanity, essentially.
Already from the beginning, like the first assassination, they're not 100. Like, it felt like, and maybe this is Spielberg doing it, but it felt like they weren't 100% in. Like, after they did it, they were like, there's these pauses that they take, and I was like, are they like questioning whether or not they should be continue going and stuff? But like,
and they continue to ask those questions.
Yeah. Exactly. I was
and
get to that.
They continue, like, even Eric Bana, he just grows like. He just kind of loses it and like doesn't care anymore. He's like, I'm a soldier. This is my mission, basically. Yeah. And it doesn't matter because the other people start questioning, like, what are we doing, right?
Yeah.
Especially
some heavy questions.
The guy that was building the bombs,
mm-hmm.
like he had that doubt of like, this isn't. What was it? I'm trying to remember what he kind of says. Like, he has like, this is against our moral. This is what our people were supposed to be. We're not supposed to be a violent group of people. We're supposed to be a peaceful people. We're the chosen people, he says.
Yeah.
Like, we're supposed to show this peace. Yeah, it's righteous. Like, you know, it based because everything's based on religion. They're supposed to be like these peaceful people or whatever. But yet they're resorting to violence, losing, I think, a little bit of that they've, I guess, kind of been instilled, and then to try to, I guess, fight this other group
just to get vengeance, land. Basically, just for revenge.
But I'm like, beyond that, it's land. Because this is more of a, you know, beyond what happened to the Olympics. It's all comes down to land,
territory.
Territory.
But that's
they
why
keep saying that. Like, he's like, oh, it's nothing, but it's land. You have a home, so that's why you think it's nothing. But
that's why I love this movie, because it's a thriller, basically, and it's a very good one. But you know, if you look a little bit further, the subtext it poses a very good question, I think. And maybe it's not one that anybody wants to talk about, but I think at the time it came out, it was very important, you know? So to have something that's so exhilarating as a thriller, but with that type of subtext in it, I think that's what makes it super great.
Yeah. I don't think people get that. Like, well, first of all, these people, you know, people who should get that message aren't watching this movie.
No, yeah,
and
true.
Second of all, if they are, they probably don't.
Yeah.
No, they're watching, what was it? Did the World Trade Center come out with Nicolas Cage like around this time? Because I was like,
they all came out.
Jesus.
See, this is the way to do something with a message, right? It's not very clearly in your face, except at the end.
But I was gonna say a speech at the end where it's like. It was like, we killed these guys.
What was the point?
Somebody else took their place. Someone more powerful took their place. It's like the whole like Hydra thing. You cut off one head to take its place. Like there's almost like an endless circle. Yeah.
The assassination scenes, each one should be taught in fucking schools on how to build suspense and how to carry out a thrilling, you know, scene. Because those scenes are fucking masterclass of directing. They set up like, because he uses a zoom lens a lot, which is something that's not used a lot today, but it was in the 70s. And in one shot, he sets up all the major characters and where they are and their target. And it's so fucking brilliant. Like, like you really have to go back. If anything, if anything, just for those scenes, the assassination scenes, that's what makes this movie.
You know what? I can agree with you on that. I love the shots. The shots are amazing. Like, and the build up with those shots.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the one that got me really on the edge of my seat, like I'm grabbing on. Well, I was on my bed, but I was grabbing on my edge of my bed. I was like, oh shit! Was the one with the telephone.
Yep.
That one got me like, oh my fucking god. Yeah. Like, oh no, and then like,
that's why it's brilliant directed, because you know what they're doing, you know who they're trying to get, right, you know where they all are, and it introduces things that just make you, like Gino said, be on the edge of your seat. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's fucking exhilarating.
What about Eric Bana?
Oh my god, no!
I love Eric Bana. I'll go on record on that.
No, there's some things.
Why do you guys hate him?
It's not on him.
He got picked to be the leader because he was ordinary.
Yep.
So I mean,
see, me and America agree on that. He's
just there.
He's like white bread, you know. He's just he's just there to feel like
not even pan bimbo, you know, like the store brand, whatever store you're at, the off brand, the store brand.
Oh yeah, the one with the Trojan horse on it that was all orange. Remember that
guy?
No, I was gonna say, like, there's weird flashbacks with Eric Bana's character.
Oh my god, I agree.
They were not necessary. I think that's where you can cut out some of this freaking time in this movie.
Yes.
Because, like...
Saying when he flashes back to what happened?
Yeah! Towards the end. Like,
the sex scene where he's on top of his
there's
wife.
a sex scene with him and his wife. Like, he's going hard on her. And then it splices with things that were happening.
Let me explain to Ernie, because he didn't watch it. They show you...
So when a man loves a woman.
The movie... You know, it's about the athletes who were kidnapped and killed in the Olympics, right?
When you think about
and they show you a little bit of it in the beginning, what you saw.
Yeah,
they don't show you everything, right? And splice into the movie, they show you more and more of what happened.
During a sex scene?
Yes.
Okay, at the very end, when he finally goes home,
right?
He's with his wife, they start... Gio, cover your ears, having sex. And it cuts in finally what exactly happened.
So there's a shot of he's on top of you, right?
Yeah.
And he's sweating. And then there's like someone getting their head blown off. And it's
I will say, that's the one scene I'll go to. Of all the brilliant directing there was in this movie.
Wait, you said this was a masterclass.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was about to say.
It's also a masterclass of not what to do.
That's what I'm about to say. Of all the scenes, you know, it's such a, like, 98% of the scenes are brilliant.
All right.
That's the one I would go, hey, buddy, what were you thinking?
I think that's...
What were you trying to say here?
I mean, I kind of get what he was trying to say. If it's set up exactly like that, he's trying to say that no matter what pleasure he has in this life, it will always be tainted by this.
I get the circle of life. Some dudes died over here, another one could be born over
here. He's
here.
making more kids.
Essentially, they show that he has PTSD.
Yeah.
He can't even walk down the street anymore without being paranoid.
Yeah, but we can show it that way. Why do we have to make it all?
Why does it have to be?
You already did it once.
I mean, I'll concede to that. That's the one scene that, even though you hit the nail on the head, that is what it's doing. But
because
visually, it looks.
Awkward.
I mean, it looks awkward and funny.
It looks like he was getting off on fucking tragedy.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, because the layman or anybody who watching this without any kind of, at least, if they don't have the subtext or any kind of way to see a subtle hint at something, they're just going to think Eric Bana now can't get hard unless
without thinking
he's thinking about either killing people or the people that died
people that got
the Olympics.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel, because in the scene, all he is just staring off on something, and even his wife is like, "Are you okay?"
See, because of his acting, that's what ruined it.
There's only one shot in that sex scene. There's only one shot where the wife, because it's mostly just him, right? You see him and he's sweating. And then the one shot where the wife comes out, she's just like looking up at him and like blinking, like what the hell is going on? Like,
and even there's some bad continuity in that scene, because he's like sweating. And it's like slow motion, and it's like, you know, the KY jelly is just coming through. And then when it finally ends, he's dry like as a fucking towel. Like, let it cut because
he screamed it off of me. He's like, "Oh, dude, no shit, bro." And it's seriously when like oh my god, the climax of the assassination and him at the same time, I was dying of laughter.
And I knew this was gonna happen. Like, this is a 2 hour and 44-minute movie. Nothing but fucking assassinations and thrilling scenes. And yet the scene we're talking about the most is the sex.
Because it's awkward!
No, I know, and I agree with you.
Well, listen, like, they were already talking about how brilliantly the assassinations were done. I think they're just pointing out maybe the only part that maybe needed some tweaking still.
I was going to say, the assassination's shot brilliantly. Yeah. Executed, not so well. I was like, you're trying to keep this quiet?
No pun intended.
Their whole point was to make news.
Yeah, well, the first one, it was like a quiet kind of
and that's why they decided to use explosives. Because even James Bond says we should go back to guns, and they say no, we need explosives because they wanted it to make news. They wanted to for the terrorists to be scared, basically.
Yeah.
But they're also trying to avoid, because like the dude told was like, hey, try to avoid casualties.
Yeah.
Using explosives.
They were bad and inexperienced, yes, but that's what they were trying to do. And they even make a point of getting mad at the bomb maker for not doing it right every single time.
So that's why they're like, maybe use less explosives.
Another thing I want to bring up is John Williams' score.
Yes!
It's fucking brilliant, and again, controversial thing, but I think it's better than Indiana Jones and Star Wars.
Stop it.
It's weird that you say that because like a lot of John Williams stuff that I actually like isn't in the bigger movies. Yeah. Like if you just listen to like a soundtrack, they have tons of soundtracks on like iTunes and Spotify of just John Williams like scores.
Yeah,
you'll hear one and you'll be like, "What movie is this from?" Because you've never heard it in your life.
Okay. And also like
tons of them that
not to shit on John Williams, but a lot of his scores sound kind of the same.
Well, I mean,
but this one doesn't. This is completely on its own. It's so brilliant.
Oh wait, Ernie, so were you in on this, or you're out? You're not sure, or indecisive?
I feel like okay. So there's three things working good. Okay, the music, like I said in the very beginning, Steven Spielberg, and the fact that like the first 30 minutes had me in. I think I'm gonna be in for the rest.
Okay, cool. Okay, wait that out. Okay, so we have 3 ins and 2 outs. Damn you, America.
It's a high out. It's a high out.
It's a 4 and 4 Sheldon.
If there was an okay, I would give it an okay.
I'll take the high outs. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody deleted.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what. Yeah.
I honestly, I thought everybody was gonna be out.
Make sure you tune in next week to. I can't. I'm still laughing. Make sure to tune in next week as we review A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood and Jules' pick, which is
Blazing Saddles.
Ooh, Blazing Saddles. Big
Y'all are gonna love that movie. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be uncomfortable.
Please don't forget to follow us on Instagram and delete reviews one word to follow up on upcoming episodes and little shenanigan type posts. Well, till then, good night.
Thank you for listening. Please exit the podcast and don't forget to collect all your belongings and young children. We hope you enjoy listening and have a great rest of your day here at In, Out, Delete.
This has been a podcast presentation from the Zenith Corporation, working for a better tomorrow for all of mankind.